Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Angry Chicken Brawl. This one for Clash of the Minions. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and I'm sitting here with Willie Dills Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat, who I think deserves just a little bit of a round of applause from the. And I say a little bit not because I think it should be diminished, just because there's only two people here that can clap for you other than yourself, because you're really not feeling well today.
Yep, I feel like a pile of poo that got run over by a bigger pile of poo.
Wow.
All right.
I mean, wouldn't that
Sorry to hear that.
Wouldn't that just
that
make
was
us
very visually? That was terrible.
Yeah, it was. And I'm thinking too, like,
You're welcome.
Would you be run over by it? I think it would just stick to it and create a slightly larger pile of poo, something like
That would make like a poo pancake,
like a poo Katamari Damacy.
Yeah.
That's what I think that would. That's what that would create, which is not a version
Katamari
of that.
Damacy reference, everybody in the show. Look at those every day.
No, we don't. Nor do we get those games anymore.
And I want to play
all.
that right now. Now that you just brought that up, I gotta find that game.
That was a great game. I distinctly remember buying it and putting it in and being like, "What the hell?
Yeah, I love that game.
Why am I enjoying this? This is the weirdest shit I've ever seen on a console."
Game is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. But we're not here. This is not the Katamari podcast, sadly. Now I can. Ooh, no.
Maybe it should be.
It would be an extremely limited run, as I believe there are only 2 games. But yeah, we're here to talk about Clash of the Minions. So Tavern Brawl's back, and in this particular brawl, any minions played from our hand gains charge and taunt. It's that simple. There's no other hidden rules you guys need to be aware of.
Which made me so happy. It was real straightforward.
Yep.
Everything in the description done.
Yep, everything that was described on the chalkboard when you load it in is all you needed to know.
I'm sorry, just breaking news real quick. I was playing Chalky Zoo while you were fixing your modem, and I just finished the game. I had 2 life, and I had a Sea Giant on the board, and a Gormok, and I played Leroy and Hansel Meccano, and all of them got Wind Fury.
Oh my god.
And I hit him in the face for like 34 or something like that.
That guy must
All
have
right, sorry,
hated you.
back to the regularly scheduled program.
That's no. Thank you for stopping us, because that's amazing.
Crazy game story.
How did you not start pounding your chest and just screaming inaudibly?
I was trying to be professional. But
Okay, well, damn, son, you did a good job, because I would not have been able
man.
to stop myself.
yeah, that was nice.
Oh,
I wasn't even
jeez.
recording. That would have been a highlight. Oh well.
So anyway, there are no real exceptions, but there is an important distinction that needs to be made. If it's specific, you have to play minions from your hand. Minions that are summoned any other way, basically, if they're summoned. So death rattles, battle cries, hero power spells, anything like that, they are not going to receive the charge taunt buff. So using your druid spells to make a panther, muster for battle, paladin hero power, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, like the stuff that comes out of sludge belchers, piloted shredders, like they don't get it.
Yep. Which is really a shame, guys, because I wanted my basically patron warrior deck to be even better in this brawl than it already frickin' is.
Yeah, patrons would have been completely. You know what would have been funny too? Those patrons with bolster, where you just make like a ton of patrons and then you bolster them all.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm playing. I don't know what you guys are playing, but I'm basically playing Patron Warrior, except I put Bolster in, and I put, it's hilarious to say this now, I put Warsong Commander back in.
Mm-hmm. He's a 3/3, by the way, because he has charge, so he buffs himself.
Right.
Yeah,
it's great. And then all of your other guys chilling there with charge buff themselves as well, which is just, it's just chargeception up in here.
Which actually, you know what it made me think? If they just made Warsong Commander a 3/3, I would have been totally fine with that change. Like 3/3 buffs other things. It's kind of like a class-specific raid leader, right? That it's still like it wouldn't be like technically better because it still has to give minions with charge the buff, right? So
yeah, but you wouldn't feel nearly as terrible taking it in an arena because you're like, well, I'm
you
warrior.
Play it on turn 3 as just a 3/3.
Exactly, because then you're like, well, I'm warrior. It's they're 3/3 for 3, not the end of the world. But I also, since I'm a warrior, I might find Corcoran Elite, and then
I get
fantastic.
a 5/3 on turn 4. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like not something you can guarantee, but it's at the moment, if you see that in your draft, you're just like, oh god, no, not taking that.
Yeah.
No, I will. Yeah, I'll take.
Now,
you.
I was surprised because that was the first thing I tried too was warrior with bolster. I thought immediately like, okay, this this has to be like the best thing ever, right?
Taunt Warrior is totally going to be a thing, right?
Yeah, but I found that it wasn't working at all for me. Other classes were just playing. Like, I could never get to a turn where I had time to even play bolster. Like, I needed to be playing minions on each turn that were really, really strong for their mana cost, whatever the drawback might be, and then just running them into the minions they already had on board, right? So things like Ancient Shade and stuff were just like wrecking me while I'm trying to set up some giant bolster turn. So that didn't end up working out for me at all. But what did work for me was Warlock with Power Overwhelming and whatchamacallit, the dude that eats the guys next to him.
Void Terror.
Yeah, Void Terror. Thank you. Because actually, so you can play things like I played like Ancient Watcher, and I played the Eerie Statue, and things like that. And then I just, buffed them with Power Overwhelming, like hit face once, and then played Void Terror and ate the Power Overwhelming, and then hit with the Void Terror, and was able to do like massive damage in a single turn with that combo. So once I switched to that, I was able to win pretty much all my games. But before,
Nice.
I was trying to do some really weird stuff. It wasn't working.
I had a good time with the Warrior. I was, executing people off. It was
Yeah,
fine.
Execute seems good. I was also playing like things like Abusive Sergeant, Big Game Hunter, because then they both get charged too. So you like kill something off, and then you just hit face for 6. So, but it seemed like it was just like who played first, who got initiative, just kind of won the game to me. That's the way it kind of seemed.
Yeah.
Well, I actually went with Paladin and did like a Divine Shield build, and basically just picked as much as I possibly could that had Divine Shield, as well as the spell that gives things Divine Shield, and I played Blood Knights as well in case I wanted to just eat my own shields.
Did you get Coghammer in there?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then because then basically all of my minions were working as removal, but then they stuck. So I could charge them into whatever my opponent had played, and then I still had my board. So
No,
it
that
wasn't
seems
just
good.
like 1 for 1 all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I lost.
Plus, even if you hit, even if you hit them, you're not removing, but you just hit. It takes 2 hits to get through your guys. So
Yeah.
that seems very good too. And also, like with Paladin, you've also got the ability to like put kings on something that's stuck for a turn, really buff it up. But there's that other one +3 in Divine Shield. There's like lots of ways to.
Yeah, there's lots of buffing you can
yeah.
do in the
That seems
Paladin
good.
deck.
Yeah. You know what I'm just realizing is that this Brawl is kind of the opposite of last week's Brawl. Last week's Brawl, you had to go face because they had taunt. This week's Brawl, you have to deal with the minions because they have taunt.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so all minions have taunt versus all face have taunt.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, granted, it's not all minions in this Brawl, but if you're playing it right, you're just dropping minions out of your hand.
Yeah. Wind Fury as well, I think, is an interesting mechanic in this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Shaman and
Shamans are powerful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do stuff like the Ancient Shade, which is a 7/4 for 4, and give it Wind Fury, hit for 14 on turn 6. Also, like the whatchamacallit, the Zap-O-Matic.
Oh, yeah,
Zap-O-Matic.
Whirling Zap-O-Matic.
That's just 6 damage on turn 2, right? So,
Whirling Zap-O-Matic is just a baller in this Brawl.
yeah. Just straight up 6 damage turn 2. I was trying to do all this stuff with I think my problem with the Warrior was I was trying to do stuff like with Raging Worgen, like OTK style stuff, but you just never can do it because they're already just playing massive minions. So you just have to keep up, and I just wasn't able to. I was getting a little too traditional, I think. So, but I'll revisit. I think you're right, Gary. I think that is still good.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. I didn't have Raging Worgen. I was running Berserkers, but again, it's because I knew I'd be whirlwinding anyway to set up for some executes.
Yeah.
And also to make... I still ran patrons, even though the patrons that are made after the first one don't get the buff.
There's still a lot of bodies that have to be dealt with, right?
Right.
And most people aren't running big AoEs because it's all single target. So like single giant minion stuff.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I just had a blast with this one,
Yeah.
man.
I actually really felt, another card that I was really into. Like, at first I was like, oh my God, like Deathwing, Alex Straza. These would be so good, because like play Deathwing, kill everything, then hit face.
And
for
you have a
12.
12/12 charge, yeah.
Or like Alex Straza, knock him down to 15, then hit him down
Hit
to
him for 8,
7, But you never get there. Like, it's just, the games don't last that long. But one thing that I did find was really good was Molten Giants. Because a lot of times, like, you're especially when I was playing the Warlock, because I was playing, I was playing Flame Imps and stuff. I was playing that Ancient Shade, so I actually did like deal 7 damage to myself one time. And Molten Giants just coming out like at the end of the game, a lot of times I was just like, I'm down to 2 or 3 or something like that, and they think they've got me on the ropes, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Molten, you're dead. So that actually worked pretty well for me too. I did actually have one game where I was able to Molten, hit him for 8, and then drop the Void Terror and hit him for 11. So that was pretty sweet.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chat room's
19
right.
damage
Chat
for 3
room's
mana.
absolutely right too. The Force Tank in this Brawl, just a stupid card.
Yeah.
Just so.
Yeah, hit for 7, then have a 7/7 taunt with Divine Shield.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Druids, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying because of Innervate. Just dropping stupid crap.
Yeah.
My very first game, the Druid, whatever the spell is where you can summon a 3/2 Panther.
Oh, Power of the Wild?
Power of the Wild. He Power of the Wilds gets the 3/2 Panther. And it was my very first game going into it. And this is when I realized, I'm like, oh, it doesn't get buffed from spells. Haha, you jackass. And then the next turn he played Druid of the Claw, and it was a 7/7 because there was a beast on. And I was like, okay, concede.
Now I see where you were going with that.
Druid of the Fang, sorry.
Druid of the Fang, yeah.
My apologies on the
But that is
there.
true. The Innervate allows them to just get a huge minion out before you can, which is why I found like the Eerie Statue and Ancient Watcher pretty good. Like, because in my Warlock deck, I was playing Ancient Watcher just as like, okay, well on turn 2 I can play this, and it just stops them from, going for my face a bunch.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then also it's later on a Void Terror target for me, right?
Oh,
so
right.
Yeah, a lot of times they weren't even attacking it. And I actually had a couple games where it was Ancient Watcher straight into Void Terror, and then I play a 7/8 on turn 3, and they haven't attacked my face yet, and then I immediately have the board. So, and the Eerie Statue is interesting because it's Ancient Watcher-esque, but if you can remove all the minions on the other side, it can attack, right? So you play it, it's a 7/7 wall for 4 mana. But I actually had a game where they like played something and hit into it or whatever, and then they had 1 minion left, and then I just like flame imped into their minion, and suddenly I could attack with the Eerie Statue. So it's what's cool about this Brawl? It's like, and all the Brawls in general, it's like brings some cards back to life week.
Yeah.
Every single one seems to have like these cards that never see play that all of a sudden are like MVPs, and I think that's really, really, like, I didn't see this coming with Brawl. And it really has been kind of like a welcome surprise for what Brawl does.
Yeah, and damn it, this is just why I enjoy this show, because every week you two show up with crap I didn't think of.
I did not think of Divine Shield Paladin. I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah, that just sounds like the most obnoxious thing on the face of the planet.
He hates you.
Yeah, there is that.
Just go to hell.
A little part of me dies when I play Paladin.
Also,
like, as soon as I queue into people, I'm like, they're just going to hate me right from the start.
Yep.
Think of also the health buffing priests. Like, you just make your minions have so much health, your opponent can't kill them unless they have just straight up removal, which I'm sure they're running. But at a certain point, they're going to run out of it.
Well, the priest problem was always getting their minions to stick, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you play your 1/7 with taunt or whatever, and then you try to like have it live a turn before you like double its health, make its attack equal. Now you can just do that all in the same turn, and it just gets to attack right away. Hit for 28. Seems good.
Yeah.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Uh-oh, we killed Jocelyn.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying not to laugh or talk too much.
Sorry.
It's really hard with you guys.
Sorry, we're making you
no
happy.
No more funniness.
Yeah.
Stop now.
We'll just start berating you and calling you names and just pissing you off for the rest of the episode. God, Jocelyn, you and your stupid pink hair.
Aw.
Mean.
I know.
So mean. I like my pink hair. Screw you, Garrett.
You know what's sad about this Brawl? That no matter how much fun I'm having, there's people all over the world that are just hungry. I'm trying to end the laughter.
I was like,
oh, gotcha. I'm like, where is he going with this?
I thought it was the beginning of a Squarespace read.
I thought it was too. I'm like, dude, we don't need to do a Squarespace read today.
Squarespace to the rescue.
I love on weeks when we're not even doing a Squarespace read. It's just if impossible not to make a joke about your ridiculous Squarespace reads, Dills. Oh, jeez. That's wonderful. So, What are we thinking with Clash of the Minions? What are we giving this Brawl in our very serious review system?
I always forget about the rating system. Damn it.
I believe sometimes we all forget about it, but yeah. Like I think the week we did this and Dills was out for his birthday, I don't think we did that because I forgot.
I give this. Let's see. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it one. No. I'm gonna give it a void. Actually, okay. I'll say my last game. I'm gonna give this a 17 out of 20. Void tear to the face. There you go.
Nice.
Because that's what I won my last game with 17 damage void tear.
That's ridiculous.
I'll let you guys figure out how that got there, but
yeah. Jocelyn, how about you?
7 divine shields and 1 real salty opponent.
I like that.
I like Zinkia's. I give this a poop on poop.
But I liked it.
I'm gonna give this 4 opponents going WTF Warsong Commander just ruined my day out of 5.
There you go. A welcome back Warsong Commander.
Yep.
Welcome back. Not gonna go any further with that.
Well, let's take an email before we end the Brawl episode.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to include the word Brawl somewhere in the subject line if it's for the Brawl show. Our email today comes to us from Danny, a.k.a. Philosopher, who writes, "Hello, upset future drumsticks. This Brawl is awesome, just like your intro, Danny. I played a Mech Hunter, Egg Beast Druid, and Egg Secret Paladin, and so far I have 9 wins and 1 loss. Mulligans gave me 2 Innervates and an egg. Wow. It's things like this that help a new player like me, started in November of 2015, have tons of fun and keep the game fresh when I've hit a wall on laddering facing tons of Zoo and Freeze Mage, which I don't seem to have the cards to counter. Thanks for all you guys do." Yeah, man, I'm there with you. I'm enjoying it. It's like it came at the right time too, because we talked about on Monday. I can't remember if it was on the show or like before the show in the pre-show discussion. How I'm definitely sitting here just like, standard. I need standard. If I see one more Zulok, I'm gonna scream. If I see one more Secret Paladin, I'm gonna scream. And those are also the two decks that I'm playing right now, and I just don't even want to play them, but I want to win. And I'm ready for standard. Bring it fast. Bring it hard.
Yeah, I agree. It was. I mean, the thing is that no matter how like monotonous ladder can get, at least you know that like Brawl is coming and it's always going to be like something weird. And that's why when we get the repeat Brawls, it's like kind of disappointing and a letdown. It's like, oh man, I guess I'll go get my pack and then get out of here. And then when you have these weeks where it's really interesting and you can come up with like lots of different viable decks, it actually keeps your interest for a little while. And then when you go back into ladder, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like you had like a little, a little vacation from the monotony of playing against Secret Paladins. And it refreshes the game for you. So
yeah.
I really like this email because he mentions that he started in November 2015, and even though this week was an actual constructed Brawl, it was really nice to see that, he's still getting a lot of fun out of it, and it's not just like, oh man, I don't have any cards, so...
Oh yeah, I haven't actually played on my EU account yet, but it's going to be very interesting to try to build a deck that works. Although I will say that a lot of the cards that do work are fairly cheap, basic cards, so they're just cards that don't work in constructed, but suddenly do here.
So yeah, I thought that was really neat that there was, because I feel like that was when they first brought Brawl in. That's kind of who they were aiming for, is like new players playing for fun, and so it's really cool that they've hit their target audience.
Yeah,
now,
I think it works great for both. Like especially with stuff like this, like this, the effect that is given to the minions you're playing in this Brawl can make even the crappiest minions pretty damn good. So even if you have a limited library of cards, I think you'll be fine. You might not have a really consistent win ratio, but if you have 1 or 2 games where you draw really well, you're going to win.
Absolutely. Now side note here, the Brawl giving a classic pack suddenly makes so much more sense now that we know about standard, right?
Yeah.
Well, now, yes, absolutely. But I mean,
when that first happened, it was like, oh, okay, just standard packs. Well, do you think they'll ever expand that to whatever? And it's like now it's like, no, never do that. Just okay, classic packs for forever.
still wouldn't mind it. Just do what Arena does and just one of the random packs. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but
a
if you're
chance.
trying to help new players, it's like the classic pack will never go out of style, right? So
Fair enough.
yeah,
Worst case scenario, it's still dust. It's not the end of the world.
true. Like for me, a classic pack sucks on my main account. I have all the classic cards. It's
Yeah.
always dust for me. But for a guy who just started in November, he's probably missing quite a few things.
Yeah,
so.
that's great. Yeah, it's
I got a golden wild pyro, so at least it's feeding my
Hey,
gold
oh yeah,
habit.
so yeah. Sometimes you get you
Yeah.
get a gold card, which is nice.
That's a good point.
Yeah, yesterday I played Arena and I got a gold. Whatchamacallit, the Warlock deal 3 damage card, Dark Bomb,
Dark
and I
Bomb.
was like, damn it. Golden GVG cards. Ah,
Hey, man.
When
When you have your wild warlock deck that
Yeah.
you're totally in love with, you're going to be really happy that you
yeah,
have
that's the
that
thing.
card.
I mean, but it's still like, even though I know I'm going to play Wild, it still kind of had that little feel of like, not good in Standard. Which it's like if I logically think about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing Wild. Why am I like having this feeling? But it's just that visceral feeling of like, oh, this isn't good in all of the formats,
Yeah.
So like
Which really,
I'm starting
even,
to
like-
understand the feelings that people are expressing to us.
Even TGT stuff eventually is not going to be good in standard anymore, or not going to be allowed in standard. So
Yep. But the classic stuff always will be. So and again, I'm starting to like come around a little bit on their thoughts there, just because of that fact. Like when I was playing my EU account, I'm like, well, okay, at least I know I always have these cards. These cards will always work.
It'd
It
be
is
really
as
hard.
much as I want it to change, like a little bit. I get it,
it would be really hard if you were a free to play player and if everything was constantly cycling out. Just like trying to keep up with that year over year would be exhausting.
Yes. Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
But then you just focus on your wild deck if that's.
Yeah.
yeah, you get to bounce between them.
I'm making, like I mentioned on the last show, I'm making this modern deck, and it's like if I actually want to make like the top tier modern deck, one of the cards costs like $100 a card. In Magic, I'm talking about right now. And that's insane, right? Like anybody who complains about Hearthstone, it's like just understand at least we don't have this going. Actually, no, it's $160. Never mind.
That's
So I'm
not.
skipping that.
Sorry, Dills.
It is a 2-mana 4/5 though, quite often. So it is a good card. But Jesus, man.
It sounds like you've been hanging out with Azixa too much. I'm just gonna put it out there. He's a great guy. I wish I lived close to him because he sounds like he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with. But he also seems like a Magic the Gathering money spending enabler. So
He's not. No, he's helping me find like alternatives. But like as I'm looking at the alternatives, I'm like, yeah, but they're just not as good as this one. Like that's my own thing. It's not him. He's not doing it. But I'm like, oh man, they're gonna play a 4/5 on 2, and then I'm gonna play a 3/3. I'm gonna be like, cool, man. I guess I'll do this. Not as good.
Oh, awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for this this edition of the Angry Chicken Brawl. Thanks again to our patrons, because, guys, we wouldn't be doing this without you. So big thanks to you guys over at patreon.com/TAC supporting us. This episode, let's thank Jeffrey A., Ryan P., Scott S., Travis, with no last initial, Anthony M., Robert M., Jason W., and John C. Thanks again, guys. We really do appreciate it. And also, keep those 5-star iTunes reviews coming to TAC Brawl on the feed. We appreciate that. Thank you to Ayarvasia, who's clearly just trying to throw a monkey wrench into my pronunciation game, who said, more angry, more better, now with up to 100% more Brawl. I think it is just straight up 100%. I don't think there's an up to... I guess we discuss other things from time to time on the Brawl episode, so maybe there's some truth to that. Also,
Sometimes it's like 79% Brawl.
Yes.
Sometimes
yeah. See, we talked about Brawl, but we also talked a little bit about Standard and Wild. This
there's like
episode.
5% poop on this episode.
Oh, you're right. You're
Like-
right. A little bit Katamari.
A little bit of Katamari Damacy. Yep.
Yep.
Just a smidge.
Anyways, also thank you to Juggalo John and Ethan Notter 1903. Check us out on amove.tv, youtube.com/amovetv. Thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H. and LVE. Get our coffee mugs and pint glasses over at bit.ly/amovestore. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast, and we'll see you guys next Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv for the next episode.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Sorry.
Although
Aren't we doing a
will
hangout?
see everybody Monday as well.
Oh, you're right. We will do.
Yeah.
So Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we're doing our patron call-in show. So patrons, head on over to patreon.com/TSC right now and get the Skype account info to call in. And then Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, where they're doing the next Prime show. I need to get into the template of these damn things and change that. Anyways. Also, check out alphageekmedia.com, where you can catch our live show on virtually just about any device. And big fat thanks to BrianGriffithMusic.com for our intro music. Dills, where can folks find you?
Check me out on Twitter. I'm at Willie Dills. The stream on Twitch is twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. We're going to be streaming later on tonight. And we will be streaming some this weekend as well. The Instance, World of Warcraft podcast, and Stormcast on Mondays at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Sweet. Jocelyn?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Joss Plays. You can also find me right here on AMove TV every Wednesday night for the Gamers In. We have our patron hangout tonight, as well as game night. That goes live at 7 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/Joss Plays.
This is terrible for the audio-only audience, but Dills, what in God's name did you just take a sip out of?
Oh, it's coffee. But it's, there you go.
Was that Carnage?
Yeah. You got in a loot crate at one point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know you were a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not like an anti-Spider-Man fan. I wouldn't say I'm like into Spider-Man, but
I was
yeah,
just
it
saying,
was in
like
a loot
Carnage, like that's a deep cut. That's a
crate.
Spider-Man.
It is a deep cut, yeah. But it's a great. I mean, it's huge, which is I think the appeal for me is it's just like massive mug, so a lot of coffee goes into
But
it.
it also doubles as a melee weapon should you be assaulted in your home.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that's cool too is that a lot of times when you have like a really big coffee cup, and this is a little tangential, but usually the top part like goes out, like angles outward, and so it lets more air in. Your coffee gets cold faster, right? But this one kind of like curves over and protects it a little bit, and your coffee stays warm for quite a while. It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thanks, Carnage.
Thanks. Thank you, giant boiling body of blood and death. You can follow me on Twitter, by the way, everyone, when I'm not talking to Dills about his Carnage Spider-Man mug at Garrett Art. So go check that out. And everything else is on emove.tv. Got a new Let's Talk About Star Wars up this week. Go check that out. And that will do it. See you next time, everyone. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!